Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Students, today the same topic of public finance we shall discuss. This is the second part of the topic, and we will discuss sources of revenue of the government. When we say government, it means government of Pakistan. There are two types of sources of the government. Number one, tax revenue, and number two, non-tax revenue. Tax revenue of the government includes revenues from custom and central excise duty, etc. Sources of non-tax revenue are the income from various departments as telephone department, gas, electricity, etc. Interest receipts on loans, fees, fines and estate trading, etc. Total revenue from taxes remain about 75 to 80% of total revenue, and about 20 to 25% is received from non-tax revenues. A. Tax revenue. Tax revenue is obtained from the following kinds of taxes. Number one, customs. Customs are imposed on the goods which are exported or imported. This tax is of two types. Number one, ad valorem duty. When custom duty is imposed according to the value of the goods being exported or imported, it is called ad valorem duty, as 5% duty on the money value of imported cars. This is an example for it. Then B. Specific duty. When custom duty is imposed on the basis of weight of the goods being exported or imported, it is called specific duty, as rupees 1000 per ton on imported sugar. Customs are a major and very important source of revenue to the government. Number two, central or federal excise duty. This tax is imposed on the goods and services manufactured in the country. It is imposed in two ways: on the basis of money value of the product or on the basis of weight or number. That means quantity. Federal excise duty is imposed on many goods as cigarettes, tea, soap, sugar, vegetable oil, cloth, wool, bulbs, cement, chemical fertilizer, machinery, etc. Number three, income tax. Income tax is imposed on annual income of the people. Incomes exceeding the exemption ceiling are taxable income and are progressively taxed. Income tax is a direct tax and it is paid by the taxpayer, and it is also a progressive tax. Therefore, its rate increases progressively as the income of the taxpayer increases. Burden of this tax falls more on the rich. This tax helps to achieve equal distribution of wealth in the country. Income tax is a very important source for the government. Students, exemption means if the government declares that people who earn rupees 60,000, 50,000 per month, that is rupees 6 lakh per year, they shall be exempted from income tax. But those people who earn more than this limit, then they have to pay this income tax on their income. So exemption limit is rupees 6 lakh, and so on. Progressive tax means as the income of the persons increases, the tax rate also increases. For example, a person who is earning rupees 6 lakh per year, he has to pay 5% income tax, and the person whose income is 10 lakh per year, he has to pay say 8% tax per year, and so on. This is progressive tax. Then sales tax. This tax is imposed on the sale of some products which are locally manufactured or imported. It is an indirect tax which is paid by the producers, importers at the initial stage. They make it a part of prices of the products and shift their burden of tax to the ultimate consumers. Income tax department collects the sales tax from the producers and manufacturers, and the federal excise department collects it from importers. So sales tax is imposed on the even all goods, whether they are used by rich persons or by poor people. Sales tax is to be paid by every consumer, every person who purchases something. And the excise duty is also imposed on the imported goods, federal excise duty, and this sales tax is received from the producers, manufacturers, importers. The government receives this tax from these persons who produce, manufacture, or import the goods, and they shift it to the consumers by including the tax in the prices of the products. So when a consumer purchases that product, he pays the price plus sales tax on that product. So in this way, the tax burden is shifted from the producer, manufacturer, importer to the consumer, to the purchaser of goods. The number five is other taxes. Other taxes include levy on petroleum and natural gas, airport tax, and workers' welfare fund, etc. Non-tax revenue. Non-tax revenue of the government are as under: number one, income from property and enterprises. The government gets a handsome amount of income as earning of its enterprises as nationalized banks, state trading and properties, etc. Number two, income from civil administration. These receipts come from fee as court fee, fines as fine by the courts to criminals, traffic challan, confiscation of smuggled goods, etc. Number three, miscellaneous goods receipts. These include income of the government from coinage and printing of currency notes, profits of state bank, auction of second-hand goods, etc. Then tax revenue. That is from these two sources. The first one, tax revenue, we shall discuss now. The modern states have to perform various functions for promotion of welfare of their citizens. For the performance of these functions, money is needed. Every government, therefore, tries to meet its expenditure from taxes and non-tax sources. Number one, tax. A tax is a compulsory contribution to the public authority to cover the cost services rendered by the state for the general benefit of its people. We may say that a tax is a compulsory payment to the public authority or government, and B, a tax is a compulsory payment by the people or person on whom tax is levied, whether he derives any benefit from it or not. A person who pays taxes to the state cannot claim that because he pays taxes, therefore a specific service in return of tax should be provided to him. In the words of Thomas, a tax is a compulsory contribution made to government and not a return for a service rendered. इसका मतलब ये है स्टूडेंट्स कि जो शख्स कोई टैक्स अदा करता है वो ये तकाजा नहीं कर सकता, ये मुतालबा नहीं कर सकता कि चूँकि मैं हुकूमत को टैक्स अदा कर रहा हूँ इसलिए मेरी ये ज़रूरियात पूरी की जाए, मुझे ये सहूलत फ़राहम की जाए। तो सिर्फ वहाँ पे जहाँ किसी सहूलत की वो कीमत अदा कर रहा है वहाँ जो है वो अपनी ज़रूरत हासिल करता है और उसकी कीमत अदा करता है। मसलन बिजली आप इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो उसका आप यूटिलिटी बिल जो आता है वो आप उसका बिल अदा करते हैं, तो आप उस चीज़ का जो आपने इस्तेमाल की है उसकी कीमत आप अदा कर रहे हैं। इसी तरह आप जो है ड्राइविंग करते हैं तो ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस की आप फ़ीस जो अदा करते हैं तो वो इसका जो है हुकूमत जो है वो फ़ीस आपसे इसलिए ले रही है कि आप एक सहूलत का फ़ायदा उठा रहे हैं, आप हुकूमत बनाई सड़कों पे जो है अपनी गाड़ी चला रहे हैं। तो इस तरीके से ये टैक्स जो है उसके लिए जो है ये तकाजा नहीं किया जा सकता। जो कोई फ़ीस अदा की जाती है उसके लिए आप ये तकाजा कर सकते हैं, या कीमत अदा की जाती है किसी चीज़ की उसका तकाजा कर सकते हैं हमें ये सहूलत दी जाए, तो फिर हम इसकी कीमत अदा करेंगे। Then characteristics of taxes. Tax is compulsory payment to the government by general public. Number two, the government does not provide any service against a payment of tax. Number three, the tax collected is spent on public welfare. Number four, the tax is paid, contributed in the form of money. Number five, tax is not a penalty on the taxpayer. Number six, non-payment of tax is considered by the government as an offense. Then principles or canons of taxation. canons according to Adam Smith are number 1 canon of equality, कैनन और प्रिंसिपल असूल जो हैं यानी टैक्स लगाए जाएं तो उनके लिए कौन से असूल मद्देनज़र रखे जाएं। ये सबसे पहले एडम स्मिथ जो इकोनॉमिक्स का जो है बानी था उसने ये असूल वज़ा किए थे, जिनमें से पहले वाला जो है कैनन ऑफ इक्वलिटी, असूल मसावियात। The tax must bring equality between rich and poor. The rich people should pay more taxes for equal distribution of wealth. The progressive taxes fulfill this principle or canon of equality. इसलिए कि प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेस में जो है ज़्यादा आमदनी वाले जो हैं वो ज़्यादा परसेंट जो है टैक्स देते हैं, कम आमदनी वाले कम परसेंट टैक्स देते हैं, इसलिए जो है एक तरह की मुसावियात आ जाती है। दैन नंबर 2 कैनन ऑफ सर्टनटी। दी टैक्स मैं और इसको क्लियर करूं कि मुसावात से मुराद ये नहीं है कि अमीर भी जो है 500 रुपये टैक्स अदा करे, गरीब भी 500 रुपये टैक्स अदा करे। यहाँ पे मुसावात से मुराद ये है कि अमीर जो है वो ज़्यादा टैक्स अदा करे। फ़र्ज़ करे ये गरीब आदमी जो 100 रुपया देता है तो उसको 100 रुपया देने का जो वो महसूस करता है, महरूमी महसूस करता है, उतनी महरूमी जो है एक अमीर आदमी 1000 रुपया देने से महसूस करता है। तो अमीर आदमी 1000 रुपया देगा, गरीब आदमी 100 रुपया देगा, तो दोनों में जो है ये एक जैसी महरूमी पैदा होगी। तो ये मसावात है, यहाँ इक्वलिटी से मुराद ये है। ये नहीं है कि दोनों ही 100 रुपया अदा करें या दोनों 1000 रुपये अदा करें। नंबर 2 इज़ कैनन ऑफ सर्टनटी, यानी यकीनी होना चाहिए टैक्स की रकम कितनी मिलेगी, कब मिलेगी, ये सारी बात। The tax imposed must be certain and clear. The taxpayer must be identified. All taxpayers must be certain about time, mode of payment and amount of tax to be paid. जैसे बहुत से टैक्सेस जो हैं वो जुलाई से शुरू होते हैं और 30 जून तक जो है फिर आगे वो अदा करने होते हैं। तो सारे जो टैक्स देने वाले हैं उनको पता होता है कि हमने फ़लाँ टैक्स जो है वो जुलाई में अदा करना है, फ़लाँ टैक्स जो हमने सितंबर में अदा करना है। तो इस तरीके से ये सर्टनटी है कि यकीन होता है टैक्स पेयर्स को भी, हुकूमत को भी। देन कैनन ऑफ कन्वीनियंस, सहूलत का असूल। There must be convenience to taxpayers. The government should collect tax in the home cities of taxpayers at the time when they receive income. Then canon of economy, यानी इसमें कफ़ायत का भी ख्याल रखा जाए। कफ़ायत शहरी के ऐसा नहीं है कि टैक्स जमा करने की रकम जो है वो टैक्स की रकम से ज़्यादा बढ़ जाए, उसके अखराजात जो हैं वो टैक्स जो हासिल हो उससे ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएँ, तो वो सारा काम जो फजूल हो जाएगा। तो कैनन ऑफ इकोनॉमी, द अमाउंट ऑफ टैक्स कलेक्टेड मस्ट बी मोर दैन द कलेक्शन एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ दैट टैक्स। देन बी अदर कैनन्स। Adam Smith had given these 4 canons, but the other economists, they have given some other principles or canons which we are now discussing. Number 5 is canon of elasticity. The tax system must be elastic. It should be possible to change when the government likes. Number 6, canon of productivity. The state should collect maximum revenue with minimum number of taxpayers. Number 7, canon of simplicity. The tax system must be simple and understandable for taxpayers. Number 8, canon of sufficiency. Sufficient funds should be achieved through a few big taxes and not many small taxes. Purpose of tax must be achieved. Number 9, canon of desirability. There must be sufficient justification for imposing or raising taxes. यानी कोई भी जो टैक्स लगाया जाए वो बिलाजवाज़ नहीं होना चाहिए, गैर ज़रूरी नहीं होना चाहिए। लोग उसको जो है फिर इस तरह बोझ महसूस करते हैं जब वो समझते हैं कि ये गैर ज़रूरी तौर पे हम पे टैक्स लगाया गया है। नंबर 10, कैनन ऑफ वैरायटी. देयर मस्ट बी वैरायटी इन टैक्सेस सो दैट ऑल सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी मे कंट्रीब्यूट टुवर्ड्स बर्डन ऑफ टैक्सेस। तो वैरायटी से मुराद ये है कि ये मुख्तलिफ़ किस्म के टैक्सेस होने चाहिए। जो मुलाजमत करते हैं लोग उनके लिए टैक्सेस अलहदा हों, जो प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं उनके लिए टैक्सेस अलहदा हों, जो सिंगल पर्सन इंडिविजुअल्स हैं उनके लिए अलहदा हों, और जो कंपनीज वगैरह हैं, ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, उनके लिए जो है अलहदा तरह के हों। तो ये वैरायटी है। Then we see what are the different kinds of taxes. Number one, direct taxes. Number two, indirect taxes. Number three, proportional tax. Number four, progressive tax. And number five, regressive tax. First one, direct tax. This tax is payable by the same person to whom it is imposed. On whom it is imposed. This tax is not transferable to another person. Income tax and property tax are examples of direct tax. Because income tax is paid by the person who is earning income. He cannot shift this tax to any other person. Similarly, the property tax is to be paid by the property owner and not any other person will pay that tax. So these are direct taxes. Then advantages of direct taxes. Number one, these taxes are generally elastic. When income of the people increases, income of the government also increases and vice versa. Number two, these taxes are also based on the principle of equality. Income tax is imposed on those people whose income exceeds the exemption limit. Property tax is imposed on the owners of property, estate, or land. Number three, these taxes also fulfill the principle of certainty because the government is sure to collect a certain amount through these taxes. The taxpayers are also aware that how much they have to pay, when to pay, and where to pay. Number four, these taxes are generally of progressive nature. When income of the people increases, rate of tax also increases and vice versa. For example, a person who is earning rupees 10 lakh in a year, he has to pay say 10% income tax on his income, and if his income is reduced, he loses some part-time job, then his income comes to rupees 6 lakh per year, then he will pay only 5% tax. So when the income was more, the tax rate was higher, and when the income is reduced, the tax rate is also lowered. These taxes follow the principles of economy and productivity because the law cost of collection is low, and these taxes are spent on productive activities. Number six, such taxes are helpful to control prices. In case of inflation, the rate of these taxes is raised to decrease the purchasing power of the people. In case of recession, the rate of these taxes is reduced. Students, here I would like to remind you that one thing is disposable income. In the chapter of national income, you have studied it. Disposable income is that income which is with a person after deduction of direct taxes. For example, income tax. If a person is earning rupees 50,000 per month and he has to pay rupees 2,000 per month as income tax, then his disposable income will be rupees 50,000 minus rupees 2,000, that is rupees 48,000. So this disposable income is at the disposal of the person. He will consume it or he will save it because income is divided into two parts, consumption and savings. So if the rate of tax, income tax per month is increased to 3,000, then he will get only 47,000 with him to spend on his needs and requirements. So his purchasing power will be reduced by rupees 1,000. So in this way, the purchasing power of the people is reduced by the government by increasing the rate of taxes. The number seven, the taxpayers have a sense of being the citizens of the country. They also feel that they are contributing to the government revenues. The disadvantages of direct taxes. Number one, the taxpayers think that the tax is burden on them. Number two, the taxpayers make excuses to avoid the tax. Number three, most of the people do not show their actual income honestly. Number four, these taxes give rise to the evils of bribery, dishonesty, and corruption. Because these tax departments, they are well known for these practices. They tell the people how they can reduce their taxes, how they can avoid tax payment, and this is all due to corruption in such departments, tax departments. So direct taxes, they are a source of corruption also. Number 5, these taxes also decrease disposable income of the people. ये बात अभी मैंने आपको जो है एक्सप्लेन की है कि ये डायरेक्ट टैक्सेज है, उनसे डिस्पोजेबल इनकम जो है आदमी की वो कम हो जाती है. प्रोपोर्शनल टैक्सेस. Proportional tax, if the tax rate is same, for example 10%, whether the income of a person is increasing or decreasing, the tax is called proportional tax. For example, sales tax. Different persons having income rupees 50,000, rupees 1 lakh, rupees 5 lakh, rupees 10 lakh, all of them pay sales tax at the same rate, that is 17%. और हत्ता कि वो लोग भी जिनकी आमदनी जब 50,000 से भी कम है, 15-16,000 कमाने वाले जो हैं, वो भी सेल्स टैक्स जो है 17% ही अदा करते हैं. जब वो साबुन की टिकिया जाके ख़रीदते हैं, पालिश की डब्बी ख़रीदते हैं, डबल रोटी ख़रीदते हैं, तो इन सारी चीज़ों पे वो 17% टैक्स अदा करते हैं. तो इसलिए ये टैक्स जो है ये मसावात को पूरा नहीं करता है. इसमें गरीब जो है उस पर ज़्यादा बोझ होता है, अमीर जो है उस पर बोझ इसका कम होता है. The proportional tax has the following advantages. The rich and poor taxpayers are all taxed on the same proportion, that is 10%. These taxes do not affect the saving adversely. These taxes are simple and understandable. The disadvantages of proportional taxes are these taxes are not justified as tax is collected at the same rate from poor and rich. यही बात मैंने अभी एक्सप्लेन किया आपको कि हर अमीर गरीब या सबको 17% सेल्स टैक्स अदा करना पड़ता है, तो इसलिए ये मुनसिफाना नहीं है. दैन नंबर 2, द पुअर विद लो इनकम सफ़र मोर. गरीब आदमी जो है वो जब 17% ही सेल्स टैक्स अदा करेगा तो उसको जो है वो ज़्यादा नुकसानदेह बात होगी, उसके वो ज़्यादा अजियत होगी. दीज टैक्सेस आर इन इलास्टिक. इनमें कोई लचक नहीं होती है. ये 17% की हद मुकर्रर होगी, बस हर एक ने जो है वही अदा करना है. द नंबर 3 इज इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. It is a tax which is imposed on one person but may be shifted and paid by another person. So the actual burden of tax is on another person. Producers pay sales tax and include the amount of tax in the price of the product. So the burden of tax is shifted to the consumers. Then advantages of indirect taxes, that is sales tax. These taxes are included in the prices of goods, so the taxpayers do not feel bad. Number 2, nobody can escape from these taxes. Every consumer pays such taxes who buys goods. Number 3, the buyers are also taxpayers and they indirectly contribute to the government revenue. Number 4, if such taxes are imposed on luxury goods, the burden of tax is shifted to the rich people. Number 5, the government can discourage the use of harmful goods by raising tax, for example, cigarettes. Number 6, the payment of such taxes is quite easy. Now, disadvantages of indirect taxes. Number 1, the burden of such taxes is mostly on general public. जैसे सेल्स टैक्स की मिसाल है, तो आम लोग जो है, आवाम जो है, उन पे इसका बोझ है. These taxes are collected through producers and manufacturers who increase the burden of tax by fixing prices of their goods. तो हर मैन्युफैक्चर जो है, प्रोड्यूसर जो है, वो सेल्स टैक्स उसमें शामिल कर देता है अपनी चीज़ की कीमत में, और वो जो है आवाम को, ख़रीदारों को जो है वो सारी कीमत प्लस सेल्स टैक्स अदा करनी पड़ती. नंबर 3, these taxes do not fulfill the principle of certainty. The government is not sure about the amount of revenue. क्योंकि इसलिए ये तो पता नहीं है कि इस साल जो है साबुन की टिक्कियाँ कितनी बिकेंगी, मक्खन की जो है वो टिक्कियाँ कितनी बिकेंगी, पॉलिश की टिक्कियाँ डब्बियाँ कितनी बिकेंगी. इसलिए इसमें सर्टेनिटी नहीं है, कोई यकीनी बात नहीं की जा सकती है हुकूमत को कितना जो है रेवेन्यू हासिल होगा इससे. The number 4, these taxes do not fulfill the principle of equality, as poor and rich consumers have to share the same burden. Such taxes are not justified for poor buyers. So students, we have completed the second part of our topic public finance. We shall meet inshallah in the next lecture and remaining part of this public finance we shall discuss. Thank you very much.